Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 27th Planning Board meeting. Call the meeting to order. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Epequet, Prince Edward Island, Mi'kmaqi is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the Indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. All right, can I have an approval for the agenda? Cameron and Louis? Okay, any issues with the agenda, or are we all good? Okay. Any disclosure of conflict of interest? Hearing none, we'll move on. Okay, can I have a motion for the adoption of the February 27th, 2025 Planning Board meeting minutes? Moved by Louis, seconded by Sean. Any issues with the minutes? Any corrections, errors, omissions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay. So we're up to number 5 on the agenda. Before we do this, I would like to address, Mr. Hicken brought up a concern to the council at the last council meeting, and he objected to the fact that I didn't ask Heather Chang to state her name and address before she spoke. I didn't introduce her, but he is correct. I didn't ask her to state her name, so I apologize for that, and I will do better in the future. Okay. So at Planning Board, we do value your input. The registered speakers are allotted 5 minutes to present their views. During the presentation, Planning Board members will not engage in dialogue or debate, but may ask questions afterwards. To ensure a productive and a respectful discussion, speakers are encouraged to maintain a professional tone, avoid personal attacks, and focus on matters within the jurisdiction of municipal government. While a speaker is speaking, all others in attendance must remain quiet and seated to allow the speaker to be heard clearly. So we have one registered speaker tonight, and that would be Janice McBeth, if you'd like to come. Welcome.
Hello.
It is now, yep.
Okay, good evening. My name's Janice McBeth. I'm from Victoria Cross. Tonight I'd like to address development permit applications and the reasonable expectation that the public have accuracy within those development applications. The development application for the GWBI development permits for the application at 805 Brudenell Point Road was approved by Planning Board February 27th and by Council on March 10th, and that was to approve dormitory 3 and 4. Can I ask the chair of the Planning Board to confirm if this is an accurate statement I'm making?
That's what we approved.
Okay. So, the third dormitory for GWBI was approved in March of 2022. The motion was made by Councillor King, seconded by Councillor Monroe, where a development permit to build a dormitory and an accessory building was approved. The third dormitory was reported in the Eastern Graphic, March 23rd, titled, "Third GWBI Dormitory Gets the Go-Ahead." Can somebody please explain to me why the buildings in the application were not numbered correctly?
Finish your presentation and then we will engage.
In my opinion, this is an inaccurate misrepresentation of a large development that the public knows little about. As a resident, I can't understand how this has happened. Certainly, there must be a file in this office that clearly indicates what number of dormitory we are on, considering it's such a huge development. I cannot understand how planning staff, planning board, and council could miss or overlook this fact. The public should have been aware that it was the 4th and 5th building because that is accurate. And the public would have had a right to see what the plans are. We're on number 4 and number 5. So we still don't know how many dormitories there will be for students, because now we're on number 4 and 5, and we were told 3 and 4. Were these buildings numbered incorrectly on the application to avoid public scrutiny for the huge private development in the private institutional zone? We're at 5 dormitories, and that's a lot of dormitories. Is there any wonder the public has little confidence in the municipality when they are not given accurate information about what's going on in their own backyard? Dormitory 1 was built in 2018. Dormitory 2 was built in 2021. Dormitory 3 was built in 2022. You just gave approval for dormitory number 4 and number 5. I certainly hope, considering that Mr. Charlie Hicken has appealed this decision with IRAC, that this will also come into view with the IRAC authority looking at the legitimacy of this dormitory application. Thank you. Could you now please explain to me why the buildings were not numbered correctly?
Okay, so you're saying now that a member of the public has appealed this to IRAC?
Correct.
Okay.
It's online. This is all, this is documented with the town hall in the minutes, and in the Eastern Graphic, folks, it's a big deal. This is a misrepresentation.
I was looking for a legal clarification, okay? Because
Oh.
I know when something is before IRAC, we can't discuss it. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out where I stand legally, because this is a legal proceeding we're doing here. So just give me a moment. Lee, did you have something you wanted to speak to on this?
Thank you, Chair. You are correct. There is a live appeal on this right now. It would potentially detriment the council's case to go into any depth regarding previous applications and the scheme that was just recently approved. My advice would be to set that aside, and if there are any questions to be answered, they will be answered at the commission if there's a case to be made.
Okay, so because it's before appeal, we don't have, we're not going to answer tonight.
I guess I shouldn't have let that cat out of the bag. I figured everybody here would have known that.
Well, staff are aware.
Oh. Okay, so nobody then will answer the question about misnumbering on this development application. We're not talking about garden sheds, folks. We're talking about another 80,000 square feet to add on to 3 other dormitories that have been built. And I doubt not any one of you here have seen this plan. You've given us as a public.
Excuse me.
I still have my 5 minutes. You've given us as a public incorrect, inaccurate misrepresentation of information for a development permit for one of the biggest developments in our community. And all we ever get is excuses and untruths. Thank you very much.
I apologize for interrupting you, but I will say that I take exception when you make accusations to planning board members for having not looked at the plan and done their homework.
Did I say that tonight?
You just said that. You said, you just finished saying that I bet none of you have looked at the plan. That's what the words.
McDonald said at the last council meeting and said she never saw the master plan. She's never
We're-
presented it.
We're talking, you just said that to the planning board members, and
So you
I
all read it then, Ann? You know that this should have been dormitory 4 and 5?
have looked at the master plan.
Okay, so you know that it should have been 4 and 5, not 3 and 4?
That's,
correct?
that's all I'm gonna say is I don't think you can make accusations. It's not appropriate.
It's in the newspaper. It's not an accusation.
We're going to move on. Mary, you are not on the registered list of speakers for this evening.
And why
We
not?
wanted to be.
And
John Davidson turned us down, and we will go see our councillor John Van Dyke tomorrow.
okay, if,
Everybody knows.
You're saying you want to talk about,
I am saying that you are not on the agenda for tonight and I'm moving on.
but we were supposed to be.
Why were you turned down?
I,
Why were you turned down?
excuse me,
I don't know, something,
Oh, Jesus.
People have the right to speak. I mean, this is a democracy.
Laverne, if you are going to interrupt the proceedings of planning board, then you may leave. This is a planning board meeting, and you don't have the right to speak right now.
You serve the people.
Yes, we do, and we have rules of order, and right now, you're out of order.
You serve the people.
One more time,
Have you forgotten that? You serve the
one more time, you are out of order. So you either need to be silent, or you need to leave.
recently had shoulder surgery, and I was afraid John Jameson might grab my shoulder after my last meeting.
Okay, this is not appropriate. This is not appropriate.
Appropriate, it's a democracy. And there's not even a large group of people here, and none of us are hostile.
The point is, we have rules. You did,
They allowed to speak.
do I have to continue with the meeting? At this point, if you folks that have come to listen tonight, if you're going to sit quietly and listen, I will continue the meeting. Otherwise, this meeting is adjourned.
Well, maybe we need to adjourn it so they can be put on the agenda and have the meeting at a later date.
We'll deal with John Van Dyke tomorrow, he's our counselor, we'll go see him.
Item number 6. 6.1. The application concerns the siting of a recreational vehicle for 120 days and clearing land on PID 906396 Sandspit Lane. The key planning issues associated with this proposal are considered to be sewage disposal arrangements during the temporary siting of the recreational vehicle, impact upon adjoining properties, and removal of structures. The planning department believes the proposed location has minimal impact on adjoining properties, recreational vehicles in rural areas for time-limited periods is supportable within the official plan and development bylaw. The proposal is recommended for approval subject to permit conditions which include a 120-day permit expiry, sewage disposal, and the removal of the recreational trailer. So the recommendation, therefore, is that planning board recommend to mayor and council to approve the siting of a recreational vehicle for 120 days and clearing land on PID 906396 Sandspit Lane. Condition 1, development permit application dated February 21st, 2025. 2, this permit is valid for 120 days from the date of issue, after which time the recreational vehicle must be removed from site. 3, sewage and gray water must be disposed of properly into an approved septic system or pumped from the holding tanks and disposed of properly. 4, the applicant is advised any trees removed from the buffer zone require a buffer zone permit from the Department of Environment. And condition 5, site plan received February 27th, 2025. Could I have a motion to put this on the floor, please? From Cameron? Second, from Sean? Okay, any concerns, questions, comments? Go ahead, Lee.
I'm just wondering why this has to go through the planning board itself, or why couldn't that be handled by our development officer?
So it was one of the things that we dealt with our bylaw review last year. And when that bylaw review has been signed off on by the minister, this will be done at planning level. But it's from the old plan, and it just didn't get caught as something that could be done at desk level.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're right, because it really doesn't need
no,
more than the information that we've been given.
yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. Cameron or Sean, do you have anything? Are we ready to move this forward to council? Agreement? Okay. 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 So 6.2. This application concerns the siting of a recreational vehicle for 120 days and a shed in preparation for land for future residential development on PID 158568 St. Michael's Lane. The key planning issues associated with this proposal are considered to be sewage disposal arrangements during the temporary siting of the recreational vehicle, impact upon adjoining properties, and removal of structures. The planning department believes the proposed location has minimal impact on adjoining properties and would assist in the delivery of a new single-unit dwelling through the preparation of water and septic infrastructure. Citing recreational vehicles in rural areas for time-limited periods is supportable within the official plan and development bylaw. The proposal is recommended for approval subject to permit conditions which include a 120-day permit expiry, sewage disposal, removal of recreational trailer, and temporary shed. And so, the planning technician therefore recommends that the planning board recommend to mayor and council to approve the siting of a recreational vehicle for 120 days and a 12-foot by 22-foot shed in preparation of land for future residential development on PID 158568 St. Michael's Lane. The condition 1, development permit application dated March 3rd, 2025. Condition 2, the permit is valid from June 1st, 25 to September 29th, 2025, after which time the recreational vehicle must be removed from site. Condition 3, within 12 months of the date of this permit, a residential dwelling proposal shall be submitted for approval. Should the approved dwelling not be commenced, the permitted accessory building shall be removed from site. Condition 4, sewage and gray water must be disposed of properly into an approved septic system or pumped from holding tanks and disposed of properly. Condition 5, the site plan received March 3rd, 2025. Could I have a motion to put on the floor? Sean and Cameron? And discussion? Yes. Microphone?
For staff.
Microphone?
For staff, just wondering about the building, the accessory building. Is that presumed to remain on site after construction of the new structure that's going to go on? Or does that have to be removed subsequent to that? In other words, is the shed or accessory building going to remain on site permanently?
I can speak to that, Chair. So the accessory building will remain on site after the trailer is removed. If a building is not applied for and commenced before the 12-month period, then the building will have to be removed as well.
Okay.
Cameron, your microphone? Yeah.
So in the map is the two red spots, the two locations for the trailer and the shed?
I can speak to that, Chair. Yeah, so the red corner, or the red spot over towards the water is the trailer.
Okay.
And the other red square up further on the property is the shed. So that's where the well connection and electrical will be fed into.
Okay.
Go ahead. Microphone?
So I'm just wondering, is there an existing sewage dump there, like a spot where they don't have to leave particularly there, they can dump on site?
Yeah, so on the plan you can see there will be a new sewage disposal system put in, so that will be also installed.
Anything further? We have a vote to move this forward to council.
Aye.
Okay. All right. The 6.3 is the application concerns the sighting of a recreational vehicle for 120 days on PID 543637, St. Andrews Point Road. The key planning issues associated with this proposal are considered to be sewage disposal arrangements during the temporary sighting of the recreational vehicle, impact upon adjoining properties, removal of structures. The planning department believes the proposed location has minimal impact on adjoining properties. Recreational vehicles in rural areas for time-limited periods is supported within the official plan and development bylaw. The proposal is recommended for approval subject to permit conditions, which include 120-day permit expiry, sewage disposal, removal of recreational trailer. Therefore, the planning technician therefore recommends, the planning board recommend to mayor and council to approve the sighting of a recreational vehicle for 120 days on PID 543637 St. Andrews Point Road. Condition 1, development permit application received March 14th, 2025. 2, the permit is valid from June 1st, 2025 to September 29th, 2025, after which time the recreational vehicle must be removed from site. 3, sewage and gray water must be disposed of properly into an approved septic system or pumped from holding tanks and disposed of properly. Condition 4, site plan received March 14th, 2025. I have a mover and a second to put this on the floor. Louis and Cameron. Discussion. Go ahead.
I'd like to know from staff if this is the first time this type of application has been made on that property.
Go ahead.
This is the first application I'm aware of, but I do know that that camper has been on the property and they have been camping on the property for over 10 years.
Well, then I'm glad that they're finally in compliance.
Go ahead, Cameron.
Do we know if there's a septic system in there, or do they pump it, store it in the trailer and pump it out?
There's no existing septic system, so they use neighboring property or family property close by, and they'll be getting their holding tank pumped in their camper.
Sorry, go ahead.
In the nature of full disclosure, my wife and my property are the adjoining property here.
Oh.
And we've known about this for a while, and they've always done this, and they're good neighbors, and I expect that they will comply with the requirements. Just we don't have any objection to it.
Okay. All in favor of moving this forward to council?
Aye.
Okay, move it forward. And that concludes our business for this evening. So we need a motion for adjournment from Sean. Okay, thank you.